Also, I don't know if you guys have noticed over the weeks, but like Joachim has gotten to a point where he has carefully thought out all of his phrasing so he doesn't give me an opportunity for any puns anymore. Yeah,
I
I've
mean, it's
noticed. Don't
I
worry, I've noticed.
see the thing is, right? I don't think it is a thing I do actively, right? I think it's like a
It's
subconscious
a
thing that I've
survival
learned.
mechanism.
Yeah, it's something I've learned, right? Through a lot of pain.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to another weekly Imperator Rome stream. As always, I am your neighborhood community manager, Troy, and joining me is one of my absolute best friends in the entire whole wide world, Joachim.
Number one bus sprint Stan, according to the chat.
Number one boss friend Stan is here. And Nurgle, yes, one of my other absolute best friends in the entire whole wide world, is monitoring us from the booth, drinking something. He's got a Starbucks today. Watch out! Oh wow. Yes, hello everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. For those of you not aware, we did launch a minor patch, upgraded some of the issues that you had been reporting, handled some not quite problems, as Joachim would say, to encounters that we had found, and of course you guys have been completely critical in the finding of these issues and making sure that we had them nailed down before we release this, so it should be a lot smoother. If you are not aware of those, please head over to the forums and check them out. We do have a list of up there. So, if you have any other questions, we're always there taking answers for you and giving answers back to you. But in the meantime, number one boss Bryn Stan is here to play the number one boss Bryn Kingdom.
So someone asked me, what's the new feature of 2.0.3 that you're going to rope in our face now? There's actually no new feature, because as far as I know, we don't have a 2.0.3 planned, which makes it very hard to have features for it, right?
Take that with a grain of salt, everyone. What does that mean for the future? I'll let you decide.
I mean, to be fair though, there's a thing to be said about whenever we make patches,
Mm.
we have a tendency to sort of we have like the big patch, right, and then we have like a hotfix patch, which happens just after the big patch.
Yep.
And if there's nothing that is like obviously super broken, we sort of just wait for a bit, and then we sort of try to scoop us as many
Yeah. What are we going to work on
bugs,
next?
issues,
Yeah.
and problems, etc. Right, and then we have like a big XO2 patch basically.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And unless there's problem with the O2 patch, there's very often we sort of just move on to the future,
Right.
the bright and great future. And
Hashtag next step.
yes, and in this case, we haven't seen anything massively broken with 2.0.2, so I don't think we have a 2.0.3 planned at the moment. If there was to be like a hey, the game is crashing when you do X, and X is something you do very often,
Right.
then chances are we're going to make that 03 patch, but who knows. Actually, let's have a look. I think we can just do like this as well, and then you can sort of, you guys sort of walk together, right? That's sort of romantic. They have a thing going. So maybe hotfix a thing with Legion full of 30 martial legates. I did see that this was a thing that someone put up on Reddit. I have not looked into it yet, so I don't know how serious or how recurring an issue it is, or how easy it is.
Yeah, I've seen it a couple times, but not like plastered everywhere. More of like, oh, this again kind of situation.
Yes. So until I do, get a closer view on that, I can't really say anything. You know what we need? We need roads. And I'm not talking about roads, I'm talking about, the things you walk on.
Roads, not roads.
Yes,
Okay,
like that.
got it.
Do you think
Disambiguation there for the chat.
Do you think we need more people? You know what? Let's bring more people. There we go. 2,000 men more. Perfect. It's what I've always wanted. going to put them on the other side instead.
Moving provincial capitals bug. I don't know of anything called a bug, but moving provincial capitals, I think we worked on that. Can you confirm or deny that, Joachim?
So I know it was not fixed in 2.0.2. I know it is something that people have looked at.
Yeah, I know we have reports in for it. I just didn't know if there was any.
I know that it's not sure that we're going to make a 03 patch for that. I know that some people find it game breaking. I have to say I disagree, but that is what it is. It's not really up to me to make that decision, though. That
Right.
is, entirely up to people below my pay grade. I think I'm going to give you some
People
cash.
above your pay grade. So, like, 2/3 of the company.
Actually, most of the company. Let's
Yeah,
be honest here.
Same. I'm in the same. I think the only person below us is Nurgle. So.
I mean, we said people, though, not,
Wow.
I feel so mean. Nurgle robot confirmed. Oh, right, I actually ended up in a war with someone else as well.
Yeah, you heard it first, everyone. Nurgle's not a real person. Nurgle's actually a robot with feelings. Feelings which Joachim continuously tramples upon.
Let's find someone else for that job instead. You seem perfect.
Now, you say he could contact HR about bullying. So Nurgle's a contractor.
Yes. So sadly, he does not.
No, but we love Nurgle. Everyone knows we actually really love Nurgle. Even Joachim with his gruff, brusque demeanor.
I have to admit, I've not really looked at this for quite a while. I sort of looked at it when we started, and I was like, I don't really want to go down there right now.
Right, and then last time we weren't worried about it because the Armenians were in a civil war.
Yeah, they sort of had that thing going. They're quite big now. But they're also sort of neighbors to the Seleucids.
Right. Do you really want to be next to the Seleucids? I don't really want to be neighbors to the Seleucids.
No, the Seleucids are... Actually, do they have... No, they don't actually have Bactria as a thing anymore, and Moria is sort of eating into them,
What the hell's going on with Parthia? What happened there, guys? Do you want to talk about it?
So, I have a theory, if you want to hear it. I actually have two theories.
Seleucids just jammed
the
through
first
them.
one is that Parthia had like an army that just sort of kept going, and then they went like, fuck it, we're done now, and then the war ended up like this. Alternatively, Parthia won this whole part at some point, and then the Seleucids sort of came back and retook the area, and then Parthia sort of split up into smaller pieces.
Yeah, man, it's rough. Like, we all know how I feel about Border Corps too. Well, and not to mention Legia. Like, let's not look at Legia. That was painful for me. No, don't do it. It hurts me. It hurts me. I am in pain because of their Border Corps.
I mean, it could be worse, right? If you look at like here, it's like Egyptian revolt over here, and it's a little bit over here, and a little bit there.
I'm just not pleased.
It's not.
The only
This one is though probably.
It's actually only solution is to turn it all a nice Bosporan purple.
This thing that we were sort of, where we're going is we sort of need the area over there, which means that we have to fight Armenia. That's sort of the be-all, end-all, right? So until we do that, we can't really progress at all. So I think what we can do is that we can sort of go down here and take this part, and then we can sort of, call it for our Western
expansion?
Well, yeah, pretty much, right? And then we can start moving eastwards afterward. Then we can sort of set up a fort here, we can set up a fort over here, a fort down over here, and the fort here, and then we sort of have like the whole border fortified, and that should be alright, I think.
Then we just won't worry about Thrace ever again.
Let's see. Devs versus creators clash, fun please. Never, because creators, probably play the game in a very different way than we do.
What? I don't know.
In a more effective way than we do. So there's really no point in doing it.
Did you just admit to not being effective?
Yeah.
Hmm.
I've said that pretty much every stream we've been on, that I'm not a great strategy player.
I am a terrible
So-
strategy player, but I'm really good at understanding numbers and trends, so that kind of helps. It's weird.
Can you preview mission trees? Let's see.
That's the
Can
one
you
I
view mission
just said.
trees or view other mission trees while you're doing one or
No.
any planned stances? So that's actually quite difficult because there's a certain amount of programming that would go into it, because the mission tree is sort of generated every time you make it. And there are several mission trees that would look very different the first time you generate it compared to the time you actually started it, because it would regenerate a lot of these random elements in them, basically.
Yeah.
Because, every time you start something with a random roll, right, there will be a chance of things being very different. So you'd probably do like a preview, and it would give you something, and then you would actually start it, and it would give you a completely different number.
Right.
And that would be problematic, to say the least. I think we're just going to grab all of you, besides the 10k stack, and move you down. Is it the same two people? It's the same two
It is.
worthless
Same dudes.
people. I'm just going to grab one of you and say that's it.
Mook number 1 or Mook number 2. Your choice.
Apparently, in this case, it was Mook number 2 that we were going with. What are you good at? You're actually worthless at
Everything.
pretty much everything.
Yeah.
And you are actually decent over there. So we're just going to, move people around a little bit, and then hopefully at some point people will be happy with us.
No.
No,
you,
they
you
probably
underestimate them so much.
They probably will not be happy with us at all. The tribes still get missions asking them to build aqueducts, theaters, and temples. If that is in the generic infrastructure mission, then yes, there's a decent chance they do, actually. Which is not actually good.
We should tell one of the design team about that and see if they can look into it.
Yes, we can probably take a look at that at some point.
Know anybody that's on that team?
No.
Okay, me neither.
They're really weird, so I don't really want to talk to them.
Yeah, nerds. Just sweaty nerds. Living in Norway. Hiding from the world. Wait, what are we talking about?
If you're going to hide somewhere, right,
Yeah.
it is good to do it in Norway. So yeah. So it's actually fun seeing people in chat talking about the MP fixes.
Yeah.
Because the honest answer is that it's not entirely on us.
Right, yes. We do have a partner that we are working with that handles a lot of the coding. So making sure we get the fixes over to them and then they implement them as well is kind of, one side of the battle.
And there's a certain amount of things that we always when we add new stuff, there's always usus, which is basically when, because the way we do stuff, right, is that we run sort of things
We run
at
things.
all of the machines. We run the game on all of the machines at the same time, right?
Mhm.
And then when two machines make
A baby.
get a different result, basically, where one machine says, "Hey, this happened," and the other machine goes, "Lol, no, this happened." That's when you have a desync, right? Because the two machines don't actually communicate in the same way anymore, and that has a tendency to happen when you add a lot of new stuff to the game.
Yeah.
And then we have to sort of go through all of them and try to be like, "Hey, why are these two? Why are they getting different results?" And that's something that often happens when you add new features. And then there's also just the server stability stuff and all of those things on top of it. So yeah.
Also, I don't know if you guys have noticed over the weeks, but Joachim has gotten to a point where he has carefully thought out all of his phrasing so he doesn't give me an opportunity for any puns anymore. Yeah.
I mean,
I've noticed. Don't worry, I've noticed.
So the thing is, right, I don't think it is a thing I do actively, right? I think it's like a subconscious
It's a
thing that I've
survival
learned.
mechanism.
Yeah. It's something I've learned, right? Through a lot of pain that you sort of just, you don't think about it, you just sort of do it.
Okay. Okay. Just dull the conversation down to the point where I have to ramble or try and make a pun off of nothing. I like it. It's good. It's good.
Exactly. So, yeah, no. Let's have a look. None of them are really... This one's probably still going down, but not
Yeah.
really by
Not
that
very fast.
much. I think we can take a look at just provinces in general. Let's have a look.
Trim the fat.
Some of them
Get rid of
are
all of these jerks.
really falling that badly, so I think it's sort of going to even itself out as we continue. So I think it's right. Question: why
Answer.
can't you use multiple of the same culture group to unlock traditions? So I assume that you are talking about. Let's see if we can find one. This one, for example. So what it does is say one of our integrated cultures must be at least 89 pops in size, which is based on the current size of our kingdom, and belong to one of the following culture groups. So the real answer why we can't do that is because it
Because
wasn't.
that's not how it's traditionally done.
It's not how it's made, basically. It is probably something that we could do, though. It is probably something that, I didn't really look into it too much, but it's probably something that can be done if we change the math and the logic behind it.
So
because
we've
if you
got
do,
most of the western side. We've got the entire
yes.
northern side.
I mean, if you ignore all the land that nobody holds, then yes. And then we have like worthless tribal land, and then Armenia that is slowly being not even slowly, just being eaten by the Seleucids.
Yeah, we might want to get down there and grab our claim if we need it for our mission trees. Just throwing that out there.
I think we're just going to go for Thrace first because we just got a claim on them, and then we're going to go eastwards after that. So, you know what? Let's just click all of the pink, and then we'll figure it out.
Tribal rework, what would it be called? Well, it would be an ordeal, an undertaking. We'd probably have to venture far and wide, so probably a tribe called Quest.
Yeah, no, there you go. What we're going to do is we're just going to take this, and then we're going to move back again, because I don't want to go in too much and get eaten by some stack from Thrace, basically.
Yeah, no. Like that right there, that 18k that's literally walking at you right now.
Yes. So what we're going to do, Ash, you're just going to move.
Wait, does that 16k not have a general? Are you kidding me?
I think they just have a bad general.
Oh, he's just trash. Okay.
Yes. The thing is, like, I'm not sure how I feel about the game not telling you. It's just like, yeah, no, he's so bad he could practically not exist.
Right.
It's like, yeah, but I sort of would have wanted to know nonetheless, though.
Why in a game about Rome can't we copy Caligula and marry a horse? Well, that sounds like a nightmare to me, so...
I mean...
Nightmare? Get it? Okay.
Caligula did not marry a horse, though, did he?
No.
He put up a horse as a consul, I believe, but I don't think he married one.
No.
I think you're thinking about CK, where you can probably marry horses as much as you want.
You leave Glitterhoof out of this, okay?
I will not, because I think Glitterhoof is a terrible meme and it should die.
The best games are made by Swedes. I mean, we do make some pretty sweet games. No?
No.
There was Norway you were going to let that pun go by?
I mean, there's a certain, like, national pride, right? Where it's like, whenever I hear that Swedes are best at anything, I'm like, just like, nah, no, that's not the case. That's just not true.
So if Swedes don't make the best game, and there's Norway you're going to let that pass, does that mean we're finished?
Yeah.
Didn't mark my words. This will not go down without a fight.
the worst thing is I can sort of look over and see on the camera that you're like actively trying to be like, okay, how can I sort of get
You can see,
Denmark in?
yeah, you've learned my process at this point.
So it's like, you were like, it was a little bit like, usually
Like,
you're like on the ball, right?
hmm.
And this one, it was like this small moment where you're like, how on earth am I going to bring Denmark into this?
No, so actually what happened there was I was trying to fit Netherlands in, and I was like, how in the actual hell am I going to get
Why
Netherlands into this
Netherlands
fun?
though? Because they've quite far away.
Well, yeah, but like I already had Denmark, right? That was done. That was already completed, like done. So I was like, who's next? Like the Netherlands? How would I work the Netherlands in?
I mean, the right answer is probably like Iceland, right?
Right.
I don't really sure how we bring those guys in either, though.
Well, no, that one's easy. All you have to say is make an island pun, but just turn it into Iceland. That's beside the point, though.
So we're just going to try and sort of push the war to a quick finish, so we can get out of this, because I don't want to keep the sort of like two-sided war going for too long.
Right.
And now he once again, oh, you're actually not bad. Well, that was an easy choice then.
We just need to get all the land against the sea, and then we can coast to victory.
Yeah. I mean, that does make a lot of sense.
Do you see what I did there?
Yes, I did.
That pun was a real beach.
Yeah, no, I mean, you're not wrong. It definitely was. So what we're going to do is we're just going to actually, Assembria, you don't really have a choice. You're now ours. And then we're going to like this. Can I? I probably cannot. So if we just let you keep some of this land, how do you feel about that?
Or we could just keep conquering them, whatever.
The thing is, I can sort of do like this, sort of split Thrace in two.
Right.
And then I can just start, move over to the eastern side and then crush Armenia. Alternatively, I can just keep this war going a little bit longer and then
That's what I'm saying. Just keep crushing them until they realize that the offer we've given them was fair, and they need to accept it, or else.
That's probably not the worst idea, actually. Let's just go for it. I hope that we can get to Lysmachaea before their army pops out. Well, there it went.
Never mind then. Hello. Hi.
Never mind then. Let's not. This is actually going quite well.
We got this, I believe.
Yeah. You believed for good reason. Got it. That was an early win.
Our luck has finally changed a little bit. What was it? Was that one that we had that was like 76% or something, and we didn't get it before 2.0? Do you remember that?
Yeah, I do. I remember the pain.
That killed me. I thought I was just gonna have a heart attack and die at the computer. It was terrible.
And then you did.
I did.
You're actually just like, a vampire and, resurrected.
I'm telling you, buddy.
So I think I'm doing a mistake here. So what I'm doing is that I'm sort of ending up bordering both the Seleucids and Rome at the same time.
Yeah, this is a great idea.
It doesn't seem like a good idea in hindsight. I feel like I'm going to get attacked from two sides.
Yeah.
That seems sort of dumb now that I think about it. But
that's what I was saying earlier. You were like, oh, we have to take Armenia. And I was like, yeah, maybe don't get too close to the Seleucids, though. Because...
Yeah, there's something to be said about that. The thing is, I see that Seleucids are busy fighting Bactria. Though it seems like Bactria might be losing, because they're sort of at war with a lot of things at the same time.
When did I grow the beard?
Sure where do we go from here?
Well, we just get our entire kingdom shattered by the Seleucids in Rome at the same time. Yeah.
Yeah, that is sort of what I assume is going to happen.
As far as the chat, when did I grow a beard? I don't know. I wasn't a fan of it at first, and then it just kind of grew on me. No, I started probably when I was like 14, and I just haven't shaved, but maybe once a year since. It just kind of stays at this length. This is how big my beard is forever, eternally.
I think there's something to be said that most beards sort of, it's not something you plan out, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
You're just sort of lazy, and then suddenly there's a beard there, and you're like, you know what? That didn't look too bad. I guess
Yeah.
I'm just running with it now.
I also
Which
have
is sort of just so.
I also
Oh, wait,
hide a
just keep
hide a
moving
really
still.
baby face under this. Don't tell. It's terrible. I have a little baby face. It's weird because like I have a baby face, but I also have like a boxer's jaw, and so like I shave it off, and I look like I'm like, you can't come into my bar, Mister. I'll throw you over the moon. And you believe both statements at the same time. It's terrible. The actual worst.
I'm looking at if we can just take like some of these areas without taking all of it. So if we just do like something like this, then we're not like directly neighboring them, and we're taking the area that we want to take. That's fine.
Yeah,
actually.
I mean, it's just those two territories that we need that are messing us up for this mission tree.
So yeah, pretty much here and down here.
Mhm.
So what we can do is we can just go on the offensive and be like, hey, we're attacking Seleucids now, but that might backfire badly.
Man, we got a lot of territory today.
We have gotten a decent amount of territories. It's sort of nice, now that we get a lot of territories, we can sort of set ourselves up for the failure that is when we lose all of the territories, right?
Right.
So,
Which is
it
inevitably
makes
going
sense.
to happen.
Yes, it is. When someone, either Rome on our western side or Seleucids on our southern and eastern side, decides to kill us, we will promptly die.
Yep. But we don't have to
So-
worry about Thrace, so that's nice.
Yeah, Thrace is done. They're
They have
gone
what,
now.
2 little territories down there, bottom right of the screen?
Wait,
right
do
above
they have
Egypt.
territories? Oh,
Yeah.
they do have territories. They've taken
Yeah.
territories from Rhodes.
Yeah, and then
I
there's
see.
2 right above north of Egypt. 2 little bitty ones right there.
Oh, they're probably right
Yeah.
over here as well.
Hi.
Well, that's awkward.
Hi, friends.
Sucks to be Thrace.
No, now we've underestimated them. That's how it's going to be forever.
Hot take of the day. Thrace is a boring faction to play.
Yeah, no joke. That's gonna be our downfall. You watch. It's gonna be like 50 years in the future, and all of a sudden Thrace is just gonna rise up and conquer the whole world, and nobody's gonna see it coming.
No, I don't think anyone will, because it's probably not going to happen. If it was to happen, I would have been genuinely surprised.
I would too. I might not even be upset. I'd just be impressed that they came back from 4 scattered little baby territories to literally
Actually,
anything.
do something, yeah.
Yeah. What is the special thing in Imperator Rome? It's set in Rome. It's one of the most historically accurate games, especially how much detail and attention we've put into historical events, naming of territories, the role of historical events, and how true to occasions we can get without being domineering and it being a one-track system that you can't get out of. My thoughts on that. I don't know if Joachim has anything else.
So the question was, what sort of makes
What's the memorable
Imperator
IR thing?
Rome unique? So when you make games, there's a certain thing to be said about what we call unique value proposition, right?
Yep.
Which is basically like, what sort of makes this game stick out? Why should people buy this game rather than other games instead? So, why should you play Imperator rather than, say, EU4, which is the game that it was closest to when it was first released? And in many ways, when you first released the game, there wasn't any... I don't think there was enough thought put into why, what makes this game sort of stick out from other games. It was mainly made to be like, hey, we want to make a sequel to EU Rome. That was like the main idea, right?
Yep.
And then you had a lot of developers who used to be on EU4 who worked on the game, so for them it was very natural to sort of fall back on
Step from one to the other.
Yeah, it's like, hey, the game we used to work on was EU4. Now that we've sort of moved on to Imperator Rome, it's a very natural thing to sort of look like, what worked on EU4, and how can we take those learnings and put them into the new game we work on, right?
Yeah.
And that means that when the game released, it had a mix of EU Rome, which was the game it was based on,
Right.
and the learnings a lot of people had made from EU4. And people can say on many levels that it didn't necessarily have the learnings it might, it should have had, basically. There was definitely problems with the game in many ways, and there's a reason why it wasn't as popular as many had hoped, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or that it didn't really live up to the expectations that a lot of people had hoped for. And I think a lot of, one of those reasons is that it sort of lacked that unique value proposition that you sort of want in a game. Because a lot of people went, hey, why should I play this game instead of that game? Because, it's an EU4 light that is, it just has less of stuff.
Right.
And that's not really a good sell.
No, not at all.
I do think that since then, Imperator has added a lot of things that makes it
Right.
quite a decent, empire builder.
Agreed.
Peter always goes his, his civilization builder, right? That's sort of the thing that he wants to do. And that's sort of the thing that he's always fallen back on. I do think it has a lot of elements that makes it just a good nation state sort of strategy game, and in many ways in the same vein as EU4, but it has a lot of elements that EU4 doesn't have. It has a different military system, for example. A military system that I think is a lot better. It has a different religion system. It has, different knobs and ways of turning things, basically, that I think makes it stick out a lot more than it did at launch. We've sort of, if we at launch had a lot of elements from EU4 that was, that people had brought over, I think we've sort of taken several steps away from that now, and made Imperator much more its own type of game that doesn't really rely on the elements of other games in quite the same way. I don't think, just selling the game as, hey, it's a game that has elements from all the other games is the best way of selling it. I think that's sort of, I don't think that's the best sell, because the simple fact is that if you have games that, take elements just from other games, you're going to end up with some sort of amalgamation that doesn't necessarily flow well. The game has to have sort of elements that fits the game and makes the game work and tick the right way.
Right.
Not just, just bring everything from everything else. That's not really going to work.
No.
That's another thing that I see people often say is hey, you have X feature in a game. Say Hoi 4, for example.
Yeah.
Why haven't you taken this thing from Hoi 4 and just brought it into Imperator or brought it into EU4 or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And that's sort of ignoring the implications of just taking a feature wholesale and bringing it into another game, because, we have different games that work differently, so you can't just take something wholesale. But it's also the fact that our games, though it's made on the same engine, it's not the same game, and it's not entirely the same engine either, because, the engine sort of changes from time to time.
Yeah.
And you can't just, we can't just sit down, copy paste something and bring it over. So
Exactly.
it doesn't really work, right? So yeah, no. I don't remember. Oh, right. What made Imperator
And this has been
unique?
learning with Joachim.
Yeah, no. I had a point, but I seem to have lost it somewhere.
It's okay. We forgive you. In the meantime, if you do have questions about the patch notes, definitely head over to the forums and check those patch notes out. Other than that, make sure you give some love to our lovely CA who's on there monitoring and handling all the reports. I know she's working very hard. Give some love to our mods and to our forum staff. They're also working very hard. And we will see you guys next week for another exciting stream. Thanks for joining us, and have a great week, y'all.